I'm Svetlana.
Hello, I'm Anna. This is our vlog. So today we are starting an interesting game that we're gonna play for a couple of rounds. We're gonna call it Sydney versus Melbourne. Well, first of all, we are stuck in Melbourne a little bit with the coronavirus restrictions, etc. So that's why we decided to nostalgia a little bit, especially for Sveta, because she spent some time in Sydney when she moved to Australia. So we decided to compare our notes, which city is better. And our first category is outdoors. So the first question, weather.
That's the first question.
Like how many pleasant days per year you can have,
Pretty much every day in Sydney. Every day is a pleasant day in Sydney.
even when it rains like non-stop, like 5 or 6 days in a row.
It barely happens, but even the rain is just amazing.
Okay, well, I should agree because like weather in Melbourne is, well, you can have like 4 seasons in one day. You can go out today, like a perfect day on the beach, almost 29 degrees. In the night it will be like 11 freezing and raining.
And tomorrow it's gonna be winter again.
Yeah, and then you can have an autumn and a spring in between. So yeah, the weather in Melbourne is not
Sydney weather is much nicer. It's so
more stable,
calm
yeah.
and mild compared to Melbourne. Yeah.
So you would have on average 25, like during most of the spring and autumn.
Yeah, definitely. The
Winter
winter
was-
is a bit colder, but definitely much nicer than Melbourne.
Yeah, and the summer lasts longer in Sydney. Yeah, in Melbourne, like what? It's April already, and we consider this today is the last day of summer. Okay, well, the point goes to Sydney then. That's for Sydney. Okay, question number 2. Nature in the city. So, is this the best city in terms of park, lakes, river, places to enjoy the nature? Like, for example, in Melbourne we have Albert Park, Botanical Gardens, like Faulkner Park, Fitzroy Gardens, Yarra River Bank, like even beaches in the city is considered to be like, very green, lakes, rivers, beaches.
Yeah, okay, fine. We got it. It's nice in Melbourne, yeah. Sydney is also very nice. Like we have botanical garden just in the city next to Opera House.
Yeah,
there are
very good
lots of,
view on the.
like as any other traditional like Australian town city, Sydney has lots of parks to go around inside of the city as well. We have Manly Beach, which is just a ferry away from the city. We have Bondi Beach, which is probably the famous Australian beach around the world as well. I would say I think it's hard for me to compare because they're
Yeah,
very
you also have
similar
like
in terms of
parks near the beaches where you can just have walks,
exactly
like
yeah,
and
so,
stuff, like big patches of nature.
like both,
like,
both these
in-
cities are very small compared to let's say London, Tokyo, Moscow. They're smaller cities and like nature is everywhere.
Yeah, even like for example, if you compare like Russia and Ukraine, you can have much smaller city in Russia and Ukraine, but much less nature there.
Probably.
Like because the way how they were planned, the way how they were built. Because in Australia, most of the city was built like a low rise, so that's why the patches of nature are left all around the place, and then they become a protected territories.
Maybe.
So-
yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's a 50-50
Okay,
because well, it's like the both city have like a nice like nature in the city places. Okay, next category specifically for beaches, accessible and nice to swim. Well, hello, we in Melbourne. We drove 25 minutes from St Kilda plus 25 minutes parking.
Category just for Melbourne, so it doesn't lose miserably.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
everyone knows that beaches in Sydney and SW are just the best. They're like long lines of sand beaches with amazing waves. All the surfers are just they know Australia is one of the best places you can go. So yeah, because of the ocean, it's amazing ocean.
Some of the also you can easily access by ferry, by train.
In the city, in Sydney City, yeah, like as I mentioned before, Manly Beach is amazing, Bondi Beach is like the famous beach, and easy to get there. It's accessible. This is just city beaches, not to mention that like outside of the city, not far away, You can get to even better beaches like Wollongong or Central Coast.
Oh yeah, that's true. Even you have like the beach next to the airport that you can go and relax and just see the planes.
Botany Bay.
Yeah, the Botany Bay.
Botany Bay is for like people who don't like waves. They can just swim there and just.
Yeah, like similar to this one. Yeah.
And I think that's why Anna actually brought us here today, so she's like not gonna lose miserably for Melbourne.
No, just demonstrate. This is Cementon Beach. Like
It's not bad, right? It's pretty nice. It's the weather today is very nice as well. And
again, the last night. Well, I have to give it to Sydney though. Like if you compare like the beaches in Melbourne, they exist. They're there. Some of them easily accessible, drivable. But Sydney is just a totally different thing. Like most of the beaches in Sydney have a better infrastructure as well, and they have like the wave pools and stuff like that. Very nice. So yeah, I have like the point goes to Sydney on this one. Okay, the next question: places that are good for a day trip, like a trip outside the city. You know, like you leave in the morning, you come back in the evening, you don't spend the night. And like how many places around like let's say in terms of Melbourne we have Mornington Peninsula with the hot springs and wineries. We have Yarra Valley, the Yarra, like the winery region with like chocolateries, distilleries and stuff. We have Lauren and Great Ocean Road for the
Great Ocean Road is amazing, by the way. This is just
and
for
it's surfers.
So accessible as well for a day trip from Melbourne. Just hire a car, spend the day over there. It's beautiful.
Yeah, probably if you want to go all the way to the apostles, it will be. You can do it in a day trip. It's just a lot of driving. It's probably 3.5 hour drive from Melbourne there. Like, but you can drive like a halfway to Lorne and then come back. It's like 2 hours one way. So that's what we go. Phillip Island, you know, the place where you can see the.
Wilson's Prom, it's a bit further away, but it's also very amazing, nice. You probably can do that as well if you really want to.
We did it once a couple of years ago.
It was strange because it's a long drive.
Yeah, 3.5 hours.
Really nice.
Yeah, Phillip Island.
Not to mention Dandenong Ranges and Yarra Ranges.
Grampians.
The Grampians was amazing as well.
Horsham. You can drive to Horsham.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's a 4-hour drive one way, and I think you can see the Pink Lake there and a big gigantic rock that you can walk around.
Yeah, kind of like Uluru, but more greenery around.
Yeah, like a very tiny version of the Uluru. But yeah, but Sydney, I'm assuming Sydney also should have some good stuff.
I think very similar. We have Royal National Park, just maybe like a 2-hour drive.
Okay.
From,
is it north?
Sydney. I think it's south, and no, it is south, and it's just so many hiking trips you can go there. You can do there, and cliffs. If you ever want to see like cliff next to the ocean, that's the best place to go. It's just amazing.
It's like a small version of a Great Ocean Road.
It is, yeah, and so much closer to Sydney.
Jervis Bay.
Jarvis Bay. It's a little bit longer. It's kind of like Wilson's Prom for Melbourne. We have in Sydney Jarvis Bay, and what is it? Hyams Beach.
Yeah, the most like the whitest sand in the world or something. Yeah, Hyams Beach.
Then
Katoomba?
Uludula is very close to Uludula is very close to Jarvis Bay, and it's cool because you can go there to the beach and you can even pet stingrays. Stingrays actually come swim to you, and you can actually see them and pat them if you want to. It's not that dangerous at all. No, actually, it's not. Not to mention we have Blue Mountains.
Yeah, you can even take a train to Katoomba.
You can take a train. I would not recommend that. Like,
yeah, if you want to go for a day trip, you just drive.
Anywhere in Australia, just take a car, much easier. You can.
Yeah, public transport is a separate category.
Yeah, it sucks everywhere. But
Hunter Valley,
we do have wineries as well, so it's been like a food experience and like drinking some wine. So Hunter Valley, yeah, very similar amount of places and similar experience, I would say.
Yeah, let's say if you stay like 10 days in city, like in Melbourne or in Sydney, every day you can go outside for a day trip somewhere, and you can easily fill up your day, like your 10 days with like 10 different places. Like in Melbourne,
even like I would say in wineries, you probably want to stay like a couple of nights because so many like places you would want to visit. wineries and cheeseries nowadays. Foodie experience.
Yeah,
like
especially if
fancy
you're
restaurants.
driving and you don't want to drink and drive.
Nowadays, people start doing gins everywhere, so you can.
Gins, whiskey distilleries,
whiskeys.
cidery,
I would stay there for a couple nights at least. Yeah.
breweries, orchards, cideries. Yeah, it's pretty good. I would say, plus Melbourne also have like historical gold digging sites like Ballarat. Like,
Sydney doesn't have them so close to the city. Like there are a couple of them in MSW, probably south of MSW. I don't know.
okay, not many
But
like
not close
historical.
to the city. At least I don't know anything about them.
Okay, well, we'll say 50-50. We'll give half a point to Melbourne and half a point to Sydney.
Our half is big.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is animals in the city, like interesting fauna, like within the I think Great Sydney or Great Melbourne. Like let's say Melbourne has like possums, parrots, swans.
Why is it not the
ducks.
same? I think it should
No
be
spiders.
The same.
Yeah, but Melbourne has penguins. Sydney doesn't have penguins.
Well, we used to have. I don't know. I think it's actually coming back, but apparently Manly used to have a colony of little penguins.
What, fairy penguins?
Same penguins as you have. I even saw one penguin like more than
in
10
Manly?
Yeah, 10 years ago. I was randomly
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh my god, there is a penguin. It's just like that, very small, and it was so scared, maybe sick, and that actually explains why you don't see them anymore in Sydney. Sydney is like overpopulated, and all this colony probably they don't know they exist there. Well, they do, just not very close to the city.
Yeah, in Melbourne it's pretty close. Like St Kilda Beach is basically one of the closest beach to the city. It's like a 20-minute ride on a tram from the CBD, and every night you can go there and you will see at least like 5 or 3 penguins. Like they have a reasonable size colony there, but it's a bit protected, so it depends on your luck. Like you can see a couple, you can see maybe like even 10 or 15 depending on the season. You can see the small penguins, baby chicks, they live like in the rocks. We also have parrots. I guess it's the same thing, like cockatoos, rosellas, gala. They all over like in different parks. Possums every night. Those big fairy ferrets. You also have this ibis, like what we call the bean chicken.
Bean chickens in the city, Sydney, yeah. But I saw them in Melbourne as well. Isn't
Yeah, I
Bean
haven't
chickens.
seen them too often.
They call them bean chickens because they like pick the garbage.
Pick the trash,
from the
yeah.
beans.
We mostly have seagulls. We have swans. We have ducks.
Yes,
Like,
swans. I think, of course, we do have swans in Sydney as well, but I feel like I've never seen so many swans in Sydney as here in Albert Park. Albert Park, I think maybe it's a protected area of black swans.
Yeah,
So
they have
many
a
of
big
them.
colony
And
there.
it's so cute, like how you can go. I think is it like start of summer where
have
you can
baby
go,
chicks.
like baby chicks following them. They're actually like quite big. It's fluffy, and then you can see how like with the summer they becoming bigger and bigger and less fluffy.
Yeah, if you do November, December, February, sometimes if you're lucky, you can see some late chicks in January.
They're
Yeah,
very
most
cute.
of the
Very
like.
cute. I don't remember seeing a lot of black swans in Sydney.
Maybe it just depends on the area. Like I even
Pelicans.
see the pelicans.
In
I
Sydney
saw
we
a
have
few
so
pelicans
many.
too on the St Kilda Beach.
Alright,
Yeah,
okay.
but not as many. Like in Sydney, you will see
Sydney
way
can
more
have
pelicans.
Lots of them. Sea eagles as well.
Yeah, you can even count maybe even potentially dolphins or sharks as the Sydney fauna.
Actually, yeah.
It's kind of like
very
inner city.
often when on a sunny day, if I take a ferry from Manly to the city, very often I can see dolphins in the harbour. Sydney harbour is populated with dolphins. Also sharks. Yeah, I haven't seen sharks.
So minus point for that.
Hey.
Plus for dolphins.
Sharks are very interesting.
Yeah,
beautiful
very
animals.
interesting. Like I don't remember any reports of the sharks or any. Probably you will see the reef sharks or something, but because we are in the bay, so in the Philly Bay area, they have the shark nets, so they might not have too many of them.
But also heard that not like sharks are not even swimming here because the water is a little bit colder than
Yes.
over there.
That's true.
And
So
sharks
that's why.
don't like this kind of cold weather, cold water. So
And-
+1 for Sydney for nicer.
Well, for
warm
the
water.
penguins,
Yeah.
for the penguins, I would say 50-50. Like the fauna in those cities are very similar to each other.
Alright.
The Sydney gets minus point because it has hell of a lot of spiders.
Yeah.
especially during the warm
It's
time.
Australia, mate. Come on.
Yeah, I know, but you know, I'm a city person. I live in an apartment. I don't want to see any spiders. I know they're there.
Oh,
I
I
know
lived
they're
6
there.
years in Sydney. I don't think I've ever seen like one of these dangerous spiders.
No,
Also
I just saw
spiders,
the
but
just
not-
big and fluffy spiders,
Yeah,
like
they're just normal
huntsmans and stuff.
Huntsmans and-
Well, 50-50 then.
Okay, fine.
We'll need to get some. Okay, so outdoor category we have 1.5 points for Melbourne. Yeah, and 3.5 points for Sydney.
Yes. I was like, what? That's just weird. Okay, so we won. Sydney won. Yes.
Yeah, well, it's out of 5, so yeah, outdoors, and you know, in terms of the weather and the outdoors, even like today is a great day in Melbourne, but you know, Sydney, yeah, Sydney is a little bit better for that. Well, okay, guys, then see you next time. Next category, what's our next category? The entertainment.
Okay, fine. Maybe Melbourne is gonna win an entertainment.
Australia Open. Okay,
ya.
see ya.